Hi, I'm Amy Baxter, editor of Retail Leader, and welcome to Trend Talk. Every week on Trend Talk, we identify a retail trend and break it down with an industry insider. This week, we're taking a look at a new store design in the UK, where design agency YourStudio has helped create the next generation of the service station. Working with Sourced Market, the new design at Leeds Skelton Lakes Services includes a food marketplace that flips service station retail and dining conventions on their heads. Today, we're talking about the design of the project and why service stations are the perfect hubs for retail innovation. With me is Tom Edington, creative director and head of experience at YourStudio. So welcome, Tom. Thanks for joining me all the way from London.
Thank you, Amy. Thanks for having us. Really pleased to be here today, and talk about the design with you.
Okay, so when you think of a service station, what comes to mind first, or what do you think like the consumer or a driver thinks about when they're pulling off the road, getting a bite to eat or fuel up?
I mean, I've traveled a lot around the globe, in all different places, and generally, service space stations are about convenience. It's like you're there because you have a mission or you have a need, often, and that's to refuel, literally, and to take that break from driving. So when you're in a service station, it is generally to fulfill that mission. You're not often surprised with a wonderful experience or a wonderful environment. However, when service stations first were designed, and the first iteration of those, they were very glamorous locations, which did attract a lot of people, different people from various areas, and they were more of a social destination as well. And we are starting to see in the UK, I know it started a lot in places like New Zealand and destinations like that, where we'd have fine dining destinations as service stations. And we're starting to see in the UK a big trend of making these service stations more individual, more locally focused, and more experience focused as well, which is great because, up until kind of 5 years ago, generally service stations in the UK, they're a mass market, big brand, convenience opportunity for the likes of Burger King and McDonald's and all of those crews. So it's great that there is that shift now, and and that is really responding to that customer need and that customer want, of people really seeking out those specialist retailers and wanting those offers which actually resonate with them.
Yeah, I think we're seeing some of that in the US too. I think especially that local identity, whether that's like local foods, local, something that makes the space feel more attuned to the area. I think we're seeing a lot of that too. But let's go into the design of the Leeds Skelton Lakes Services. Can you tell me about working with Source Market, what the space looks like, what it feels like, what's different about it from that maybe concept that consumers have in mind?
Sure. Well, first of all, Skelton Lakes is designed on a nature reserve. So instantly the location is taking you somewhere else. It's not really that like concrete platform next to the motorway that you expect. There's a nature reserve out the back of Skelton Lakes. There's a large green covered roof. It almost feels a little bit like a magical like nature land when you approach it, which is already shifting your mindset of what you expect from a service station. So Skelton Lakes and their provider Extra really wanted to start implementing retailers that have their values at their core and the values that align to Extra's values. So Source Market as a retailer are very ethical and locally focused, and they really want to promote and create a platform for those smaller retailers that generally don't have a voice, and really connect those like farmers, those artisans to their local audience, and be able to hero them within the space. So that was a really natural alignment with Extra in terms of what they're trying to do with their services in creating those local spaces, as we talked about. And then in terms of the design, Source Market as a brand was born as a market, so a host for all different types of vendors. Now, as they've grown as a brand, it's kind of lost a little bit of that ramshackled market feel, and we're really thinking about how we contemporize a market and make it a space you would want to dwell in, but whilst that still feels quite dynamic and it has that essence of exploration that everyone loves about a market. You want those moments of abundance, but you also want to be hit with the senses, and you want to create a destination that you do encourage people to explore. It's not like there's not just one face of it and you've learned about everything to do with the market straight away. We're really encouraging with the design of the store and the flow, the signage and the way that the categories work. We're really encouraging customers to meander through and have a little bit of a journey of discovery.
Yeah. And I think part of the design too is having some eco-conscious concepts. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure, yeah, and that's where I was saying about aligning with Extra's values as a brand. So Sourced, as I mentioned, is it provides that platform for local artisans. Mm-hmm. So immediately we are helping our green footprint because we're not having produce that's travelled from all over the UK to land in this destination. It is from a catchment area around the services itself. So we are really reducing on our emissions, firstly, and then there's all the wonderful touches that we can help bring to the brand as well within the environment of the reusing like brick slips. So there's a lot of waste, especially in the north of England, of bricks, and being able to take that waste and use it within the environment was a really key thing that we wanted to do. Then we've reused plastic bottles that have been turned into surfaces so they become tabletops and countertops. The lighting, I mean, it's a really small thing, but the lighting is really smart within the space, so it changes with the day. So we're not having all of our lights super powered all day. They're on a smart system so that they are evolving with the day itself as well. So we're only using as much power as we need to. And then things like we're really looking at our digital footprint nowadays, as all retailers should be and designers should be as well. So thinking about where we can, bringing in that more like lo-fi communication, so that we're not having to put screens everywhere. We're almost going back in time and looking more at like how we can contemporize the chalkboard and do those moments of communication which are more lo-fi but use less power and aren't as wasteful and are easily updatable and changeable, without us having to totally throw something away and change it.
Yeah, very cool. So within these sourcing from local suppliers, like what are some of the products and why is that important? Do you think that helps give the environment like really this different kind of identity?
Totally, and it really connects to the community. So when I last went there, it's great. There is a new development which is being built nearby as well, like a new housing development, but there is a large catchment area, and it's close to Leeds city centre. But we have these like wonderful stories about the chickens. Say that we have this roastery in the space, but the chickens are from a local farm around the corner. And I was talking to this couple that were eating the chicken and saying it was the best chicken that they've ever had. And I'm not sure it is the best chicken they've ever had. It is a lovely chicken, but I think because of that emotional connection that they felt to the locality of where it was from, and they were saying that the farm is just around the corner from them, and then they're getting to taste it like in this space. And firstly, they were really surprised around the quality, and having that quality delivered to them in a service station, but then understanding that it is giving that platform for local farmers, local artisans. So there's like local chocolatiers, local breweries, the baker, the roaster, and all of those are heroed within the space. So it gives them that platform to get their brand out there themselves as well.
Cool. Yeah, I'm curious more what's been the response from consumers, and are the customers mostly people who are just driving by, or has it also become a place for locals, especially if other things are being built up in the area?
Yeah, it is, and to do maybe the obvious answer, it is a really mixed bag that we're seeing with it at the moment. So we do have those locals, as I mentioned, that family that were in eating the chicken. But as a service station, it is naturally transient.
Right.
You're having people that are passing by. They're on a journey to somewhere else. So we do get a lot of passing trade. But as I'm sure in the US, people end up stopping at their favorite services, and people talk about their favorite services. And people were saying last time we were in there, they were stopping at Source for a reason, and they were stopping at Skelton Lakes to go to Sourced because they knew at Source that they could get some really great food. They could pick up some amazing products, whether that be a gift for someone or for themselves. So it is starting to be a bit more of a destination for people that are regular travelers, I would say, as well as being able to have a destination for locals. It's a surprising destination for locals because, changing the mindset of people from going to their local town to go to a deli versus going to a services is a real shift. But they definitely see the benefits of it because it is really bringing that convenience and that high quality product closer to them and within their realm. And there's a bonus of it being next to a nature reserve, so wonderful lake and bird watching and everything like that right on their doorstep as well.